And welcome to another episode another episode of Daily Market Mastery with me, Christian Rauchenwald. On this, I think we have Thursday. I hope you all had a great week so far. Weather in Germany still sucks. It's autumn, winter is approaching, and it's like less or little to no sunshine. As usual, before we jump into it, let's get the usual disclaimer out of the way first. Everything that I share in this live stream / video is my personal opinion and in no way financial or professional advice of any kind. You should always do your own research, consult certified professionals, draw your own conclusions, and make your own decisions. Besides that, all the tools that I'm using in this live stream / video, so the broker, the charting software, the strategy I'm following, and so on, are all linked in the video description down below. And the one thing I recommend, if you haven't done so, is take the time and check out the Elliott Wave principle, which you can read online for free when you use the link that's in the description down below. Now that said, hi Olga, great to have you here. You mentioned on Discord that you're about to potentially get an apartment. So I assume would it be in Germany or would it be in Ukraine? So like I'm a little bit confused from how I recall that. By the way, great to have you back. As you noticed on Discord, missed you here. What you missed during the last couple of streams, one thing yesterday, I mistakenly deleted my chart tab, and with deleting my chart tab, I actually got rid of all my analysis. What's the plural of analysis? Analysis. Yeah. So, and basically now we are back to the drawing board. A little bit frustrating in some respects, but in other aspects or respects, it will give us the chance to label things from the beginning again. So to verify our previous predictions. I also started to, not sure if you noticed that, so I also started to keep track of predictions. Actually, Rai, my assistant, is trying to keep track of predictions, but still having some issues with deciding how to best in that sheet keep track of different predictions. When, for example, the short-term prediction would be okay, we go down here, but the long-term prediction would be we go up here. So how to efficiently track that. Now I know that one option would be, although I don't see how I can implement that properly. So one option would obviously be to pick trading or to use TradingView, where now where's the stupid chart button? Chart, yeah. So where I could label something and then you can somehow save it, share it, publish it, yeah. Which would have the benefit that, is there somewhere my ideas or so? Profile settings, refer, partner program. So which would have the benefit that the predictions would be public and there would be more accountability. So no idea where it is. So community scripts, ideas. Okay. So are there somewhere my ideas? No. I think I published some in the past already ages ago, so I'm not sure if they profile settings. No, profile settings is not what I want. Oh no, profile settings is actually ideas. Yeah. So published some in the past. So latest one was in 2021. But the benefit obviously would be that they are replayable. So not sure if my Tesla outlook turned out correct or not. Or then the split happened, I think, or so, or there's just no data because it's too long in the past. Yeah, so not sure why there's no data. There, I guess the same or not. Oh no, here it actually loads, yeah. Yeah, so I mean the benefit of using TradingView would obviously be exactly this. So I could plant my prediction and then we would see. So basically from here, I estimated that there will be a little bit more upside. I mean, there was a little bit more, and then I estimated the correction. And other than the distance of the correction, yeah, so overestimated the correction a little bit, but actually wasn't too far off here. So I said the benefit would be more accountability. And the downside, however, is like I have zero incentive or zero motivation to label everything twice. And this would be something, so while my assistant definitely would be able to, if I mention, okay, the prediction for Barnes & Noble Education Inc. is $15, she definitely would be able to update the Google Sheet or Excel sheet or whatever and write $15 there, but she probably would not be as easily able to replicate the predictions. So, I mean, a little bit of a bind here. Motive Wave is great and I love it for labeling, especially for you applying Elliott Wave Theory. But obviously sharing predictions is a little bit harder, especially accountability. So with the Google Sheet, obviously I can, or Excel sheet or whatever, I can keep track of the predictions and also mention or have my assistant write down when in a video and in which video I made the prediction. So which also would allow some credibility or some accountability. But yeah, if you have any ideas how to or any ideas how to best do that, I'm all ears. So it would be nice to have some way, as said, to keep track of all the predictions, but also in a transparent way that shows how often I'm right, how often I'm wrong, and so on. Yeah, and right now I don't know, like I'm not certain how to best do it. Yeah. Anyway, so looking ever since for an apartment, but nobody wants to rent it to her without a job. Here, of course, mother-in-law lives near us since February. Okay, I misunderstood that. I thought you got an apartment, so like, okay, here's a piece of property for you. Not that you found one for her. That's great, yeah. Like, I mean, yeah, like real estate in Germany is so different from Ukraine. Like in Ukraine, you just look at an apartment. The moment you mention you work in IT or something, they anyway would love to have you as a tenant. You give like a small down payment or just pay your deposit and voila, that's it. And in Germany, it's like, okay, I mean, you know it, obviously, yeah, but basically proof of income, proof that you have no debt. So like the equivalent basically of the American credit score with the German Schufa-Auskunft. And then, yeah, like almost blood test and so on. So like then, yeah, like for the apartment we are moving in, it was also about like, okay, not if we already have it, but that we will need, I mean, we already have it, but once we move in, we would be required, if we don't have it already, to have a liability insurance and a Hausratsversicherung, so the thing that's insuring everything within the apartment and so on, yeah. It's just, I don't know, like, yeah, like baffling. And to be fair, that has been over the last couple of years a quite frustrating experience for me, because I mean we got lucky when we stranded here in Germany that we only had to look at 3 apartments, and then we found this one, and it's really not bad, yeah. But it's far from the apartment we had in Kiev, that we rented in Kiev, and yeah, so we got lucky, third apartment, private landlord, so not some corporation or so. And yeah, basically just told him our situation, showed him some numbers from our Hong Kong entity, and got the confirmation that the next day. Yeah, but since then we've here and there looked for apartments, so to find something that maybe is a little bit nicer, and then of course costs a little bit more, but or is the same but maybe a little bit cheaper or so. And the few things that we found that would have been okay, so it's really like 1 or 2 places, pretty much like no chance for us to get the apartment, despite actually paying ourselves what I consider is like a decent income. But it's like every landlord would prefer a couple with 2 full-time jobs over us as entrepreneurs, where if we struggle with our business, then we both have no income. Whereas a couple with 2 full-time jobs, even if one loses his job and becomes unemployed, they still get like 80% of the salary from the Arbeitsamt, and the second person still has the income, so the landlord has less to worry about the rent. Yeah, and we really just got lucky. So we are moving in the next couple of months as well. Friends of us, I mean, we haven't signed the contract yet, but we already got the confirmation. So yeah, like I expect it to play out like that. So friends of us move out of their apartment, and it's actually a little nicer than ours. It comes with a garden and a garage and so on. Not much more expensive, better location as well. And the only reason we got it was basically the moment they sent their termination letter or cancellation letter, whatever, they already attached our Bewerbermappe, our application mappe folder. And even then we met with the landlords, and it's a nice couple, although they are like running a real estate business with apartments in Munich, Berlin, and wherever. So like they're really well off. And so it really, they were torn a bit, but at the end, I think they just picked us because we are a recommendation from reliable tenants. We earn enough to afford the rent, yeah. But I think the only reason why they said yes to us is because this way they didn't have to deal with apartment viewings and stuff like that, yeah. So that's really, I think, what it came down to, which is kind of like insane because again, we're really not doing bad, and still you feel like, or I sometimes over the last couple of years then felt like a second-class citizen because you're self-employed. Like you're building your own business or running your own business. You're even, I mean, we're not employing anyone in Germany, but we are employing freelancers around the world. Yeah, sometimes more, sometimes less, and so on. But then you're treated like a second-class citizen, and every other person that has a regular job would get an apartment before you. And the same is like with financial stuff. Like that's something that really annoys me. Like if you're an employee and you would want to get a loan, so let's say you earn, I don't know, 2,000 per month or 1,500 per month or so, no problem to get 10, 20 times your monthly salary as a loan. If you're self-employed, well, yeah, then you basically should show up with your last 3 years of income tax statements. And if your income tax statements don't look good because maybe it's not going that well right now, that's why you need a loan, then you don't get it. And if they look good, so you potentially don't need a loan, then it anyway doesn't matter. Yeah. So it's like really something that baffles me because I think our business is more secure than having a job, because if you have a job, it's outside of your control how long you will have that job. Yeah. Whereas with our business, it's within our control to put effort into the business and generate the revenue needed. Yeah. Anyway, so like you said, looking ever since for an apartment, but nobody wants to rent it to her. Yep. So clear, unfortunately, yeah. She fled in 2020, yeah, to Poland, picked her up in Berlin to live with us first and elsewhere. Her and my wife own an apartment in Ukraine. Unfortunately, we don't here yet. Yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah, for us, to be fair, so the new apartment is going to be an improvement. As said, so small, comes with a small garden, garage, a little bit more space, everything a little bit more modern and so on. And I'm honestly, the rent is, yeah, okay-ish. So again, a little bit more than what we pay now, but it's in a bigger village, so better location, better apartment. So it's okay to pay a little bit more than what we're paying now. And it's actually nice enough that I don't mind if we stay there for the next, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years. Also, we don't have to worry about the landlord kicking us out because he wants to use the apartment himself or so, because they, again, like have a real estate business with a bunch of apartments and really just want to get the rent, and not like, okay, in 10 years my son moves in here or so, yeah. And the rent, and it uses a Staffelmietvertrag, so it just has a fixed increase every year of 3%. So, I mean, while it is an increase, but it's an increase you can plan with in advance, and you don't have to worry that the landlord 1 year just sends you a letter and increases the rent by 10, 15, 20%. So maximum allowed in Germany is 20% over 3 years. So, and since we now in this apartment are almost 3 years, and Thomas, our current landlord, hasn't increased the rent at all yet. And the last time we talked, he mentioned he didn't intend to, or didn't plan, or isn't planning on. But I mean, it's also just a matter of time before he would make the smart decision and also see, okay, he could actually ask more based on surrounding rent and so on. Yeah. Anyway, so that's where we're at. So we are moving probably in January, and I hope I can handle it all, or like arrange it all with the streaming. Now, as mentioned yesterday, I mistakenly deleted all my labelings, and today we are therefore going to focus on probably one thing. I just have not decided what yet. On one hand, I would love to focus on the NASDAQ and actually on the futures, so either the E-mini or the micro E-mini. Why futures? Because there we would have the overnight data as well. So if we look on a daily, or not even daily chart, but on an hourly chart, we have next to no gaps, which makes it easier to label. And I also structured the watch list a little bit better. Not done yet with that. We'll have to update that. Markets are obviously open now. Nasdaq continues to rally up. Yeah, obviously, I mean, visually with the naked eye, we can already see. I mean, yeah, it's how much did we retrace here? 2013, 2007. Yeah, so we can already see pretty much that it looks like this. Wave 1. Here we have A, B, C for wave 2. And we can see our wave 3 here is going to crush targets, yeah. I think that here for after wave 2, we are looking at 1, 2, maybe 3. So let's adjust it for a second. Let's move that back. Yeah, so on one hand, I would like to focus on the NASDAQ because I just like labeling it. It follows it's very often a relatively clear pattern. Oh, looks like based on our usual extensions that we might not even be ABC be done here with that third wave. That would be kind of insane, but that would then mean that we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe. So, but the problem is obviously the portfolio size that I'm having right now is not big enough to properly trade the NASDAQ. So it's kind of like then a fool's errand to label it. But yeah, so yeah, not sure. So first glance, so we're gonna keep it simple on the NASDAQ, and then we move on from here. So from the looks of it, we had a wave 1, 2 at the end of October. So on the hourly chart, we actually should zoom out, but from the hourly chart, it looks like we had wave 1, 2, and then we have basically the beginning of third wave, and then in this third wave, we have wave 1, 2. And then we did not bounce. I mean, we bounced at the 1, 6, 1, 8, but that would be insane to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So here we didn't bounce. So while possible that this is our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for wave 1, wave 2, and then we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So I think there's still more upside. What's that then? Basically another 200 points. 140 points to this area here to finish 1, 2, 3. Then we get the next correction that potentially brings us down again a couple hundred, and then we get our next wave up. That would be on the hourly chart. So, but other than that, I'm not sure. Maybe it makes sense to focus on the SPX, but I would have to check if I also am able to. Wasn't there ES? Do I have it somewhere here? No, I don't. Wasn't there? That one. That one could potentially be what we are looking for. Shouldn't have picked the daily time frame, but then that also wouldn't help me because that would be also out of our league. We would need a, let's see. ES should be but I would need the micro A mini or micro A mini MES. That would be the one that we're looking for. Okay, so there we go. So no, that one's also. Do you know the equivalent? So basically the micro mini ticker for SPY. So basically that we have SPY but with overnight data. So without the overnight gaps. That should be micro mini, but why does it? maybe I'm just having an understanding issue here. So there's no. The problem is obviously in the Nasdaq we just couldn't afford the options. So because obviously we can see that the premium here is yeah, like for example $9,000 can make one trade and go bust or make a profit. Yeah. In the what's this one called, micro. Yeah, so there we are in a more affordable area, $200. Yeah, and SPY is the same, so the SPX is obviously too high and we don't, that I can remove, delete row. We don't have the budget to trade options there. So as we can see, $1,600, for example, $1,000. So I mean, maybe they're actually, oh yeah, but oh no, that actually are reasonable contracts. So that, although that's 0 days, and so if we would say like we pick an option that's, I don't know, like 14th. So let's say what's in a week from now, the 18th. Yeah, then yeah, it's also basically couple $1,000 risk. So unless there is I expect a bigger move. We're gonna keep it open for now, but we'll have to check then later. Now I don't know why it's not loading. So what are we looking at today? What do we pick? Let's Barnes & Noble we already labeled yesterday again. So basically there is nothing to change here. There would just be an alert needed at 8:31:24. Yeah, so 8:31. Create alert. 8:31. Oops. So if we go down here, then I'd be wrong. But from the looks of it, I believe that we have from the looks of it, I believe that we finished our retracement on the 78.6 here, and that from here we are going to develop the next 5 waves up, because we visually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here to complete the, or no, actually 4, 5, and so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And corrective wave, and now we should get the next 5 waves up. So that about that, but the prediction here doesn't change. Our prediction here is so far 1419 to 1977, and we're going to stick with that for now. That's based on that's actually based on the assumption, I think it's based on this expansion, if I recall it correctly. Yep. So alternative, the other price target for this being wave 1, 2, 3 would be in between there as well. So our current predictions there stay unchanged. Now, yeah, Faraday futures we hold next to no exposure. We have like $80 exposure, and we're at minus $60 there. Yeah, that was a, in quotes, almost gamble, where the pattern turned out to be wrong or not as I expected it. It was our first endeavor in, or my first endeavor in writing cash secured puts. So we just hold on to our, I think, 5 shares that we have. Yeah. So, and see what happens over time. So I'm not going to bother to label that. GameStop, I think we didn't label yesterday, but the point is still the same. We'll not update it today, but we basically had 5 waves here, correction down, and should potentially now get the next 5 waves up. Or let's zoom in a little bit. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, quite nice. And we retraced 61.8%, and it's possible that this is already the entire correction, because let's double check if we reached our minimum targets here as well. That might be the one thing that's not the case. Yeah, that's not the case. So the other option is that we're actually looking at this, in which case we would now get another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and would potentially, yeah, we should then go a little bit lower than here, but from there we should still go up. Yeah, so, and nothing changed on the overall, on the overall pattern, that basically we are waiting to break the 25, 24 in order to have additional confirmation that the correction indeed finished here. And as long as we don't break the 25, 24, we still have the option that we get another push down into the area of $15. So that prediction is also unchanged. However, one thing we can check is we sold the $30 calls. So covered calls for this week, and which means we can roll them into next week potentially. So premium is, let's strategy builder. So if we $30 calls for next week, and then for this week we would have to buy them back. So if we do that 5 times, we'd right now pocket $150 premium. If we wait a little bit longer, then we get $30 premium here. So it only depends on our outlook, and since our outlook right now supports, tricky, yeah, because like on one hand this could be 1, 2, 3, 4. How low did we get here? 22.81. Both the same. That's frustrating. So this here could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're getting wave 5, in which case we'll be able to get more premium for next week's options. Or this asset could turn into, could be A, B, and then wave C. I think, what do I think is more likely here? Yeah, so A, B, C, but we didn't reach our minimum target here, so would be easier if we would have gone 1 cent lower here, because then we already would have our, in quotes, confirmation one way or the other. Oh no, it actually checks out. So wait, I have to zoom out here, so I'm not. I mean, it's not going to make a huge difference, so we're just going to roll them. So basically, again, yeah, here mid, sorry. So get $31 per option, and times 5 is 150. Okay, so buy back the November 8 and sell the November 15. There we go. Submit order and transmit. So and I have to cancel this one then.
Order partially filled.
There we go. So we basically have closed out this week's covered calls and sold new covered calls for next Friday, and we got $140 in premium for that, or a little bit more than $140, because we had I think a slightly negative dollar balance before. Now, considering this, we can actually, we're actually gonna buy right, so which means we are going to use the premium that we have to buy more GameStop in that case. So GameStop is at, what did we say, $23, so 6 shares. So we go with 5 shares. No, not calls. We want GameStop shares here. Yes. Buy. Yeah. 5. Mid and submit.
Order filled.
There we go. So got 5 more shares. So which means even if our calls trigger and we get the 500 shares called away, then pretty much everything else that we have in the portfolio is based on the premium we earn from GameStop. Not to mention that we already got 100 shares extra paid for with premium that we already transferred to the transfer agent. Now, yeah, with that, we move on, but we'll also zoom out here. And our question is, what do we do? So like, what do we label today? So we'll have to pick something. Immersion, there we have the big picture. Yeah. So let's yeah, let's work our way through immersion. So let's first see what the auto labeling does if we say from 1st of October 2002. And let's first check. Nope. Yep. So auto wave. And 2002 10/01 update. Did I get it wrong? 2002. Hello? Okay, then it doesn't want to label it, really. And if we switch on a weekly chart, (2002) update. There we go. Monthly. So they are based on the auto labeling. You can see that the dark purple would be the first impulsive wave, so wave 1, and we're fairly certain with that. We already labeled that previously, so that this is a 5-wave impulse. Then the corrective wave, however, is labeled as A, B, and C. I honestly wouldn't be able to label that correction. Yeah, considering that wave C, according to that auto labeling, doesn't make a new low. So personally, I would tend to try to label this as wave 2 and then label this as the next wave 1, 2. And then according to the auto labeling, we are now basically in wave 3. And in wave 3, we have, according to auto labeling, 1, 2, and are currently in the third wave of the third wave. So, and I agree partially with that. So let's get rid of the auto labeling and see. So personally, I agree that this here is wave 1, although I would have gone here, but it's definitely possible. Then here, visually, we also have a 5-wave, but that needs to be a diagonal, which would fit because in the third wave, well, the third wave itself is always going to be an impulsive wave. The first wave within a third wave can also be a diagonal. Now, that will obviously not work because it's going to complain. And obviously, if I label it from this way, it connects it stupidly. So unless I do the following. So that would be wave 1, wave 2, and we're currently in wave 3. And then here, let's check. We're still on a monthly chart, so actually checks maybe out. Yeah, 1, 2, let's see. Yeah, probably 1, 2, 3, 4. And here the low is 633, and here the high is 630. So that checks out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's our wave 1. Our wave 2 and our wave 3 is not finished yet. And then here we might be looking at 1, 2, 3. Not that nice, but then that would need to be a diagonal because here we already go lower. So that would need to not be 1, 2, 3, but it could be. Let's get a weekly chart here. One, two. Okay, what if this is a fluke? And then our one would be like this. But then that also wouldn't check out. Although we can clearly see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, then that would be, yep, that's how it makes more sense. So this would be a 5-wave up. Not sure about the correction yet, which means we would right now be looking at into this part here, where we have, based on a weekly chart, an almost perfect correction to 61.8, anti 100% expansion. And if we work our way closer, tricky to label the last part, to be honest. Yeah, so this corrective part here is tricky to label, but if we now zoom out again, so on the monthly chart, we would basically say, okay, or actually even on the yearly chart, yeah, we would say we are basically having wave 1, wave 2, and should now have a bright future ahead here in wave 3. On the monthly chart, we would say, okay, within that third wave, we finished wave 1, or how low do we get here? Here the low is 423, and here the low is also 423. Okay, that's a tough choice because they both retrace the same, so it's possible that we don't have a wave 1 here, but that is some free-wave corrective move still. So we're actually going to deal with that assumption, and so in this case, not like this, but like that. This here would be our point 2, and then we're currently in wave 3, where we have wave 1, 2, and are now forming the third wave, and so for this first wave within the third wave, we already retraced what we expected to retrace, especially on the weekly chart. And so we would expect to go up from here. Now, theoretically, stop loss in that case would need to be for long positions at 594. So there's still some risk left. However, one could also enter here and just, in quotes, bet on that this was indeed the end of the correction, in which case the stop loss could be at 817. Yeah, so prediction-wise, what do we have on the chart for prediction? Actually, we don't have a prediction on the chart for immersion. So we are going to get one. Question is which one, yeah, so uh, 27, 27 to 32, so 27, 27 to 32.81, yeah. So yeah, risk reward ratio wouldn't be too bad. That's assuming that we indeed, nope, wait. No, it's the right one. So wave 1, wave 2, and then wave 3 should take us ideally up here. It's possible that wave 3 is already finished here. Then we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, and would still get wave 5. So then we wouldn't go that high, but it still would be a 100% return if that were the case. Yeah, so we leave it at that. We stay at the weekly chart. We're going to zoom in a little bit here and save this primary analysis for immersion. And with that, we are going to move on. Now, yeah, there we don't have to bother. So, because that looks like, not even sure if we get yearly data. Let's see. It's so weird that the loading of the data sometimes takes so long. I mean, especially if you say yearly data, so I mean, it should just for every year get the open, close, and high-low values. So it's like fetching 4 values per year. Really shouldn't take that long unless a stock is out there for I don't know how long already. But it is what it is, yeah. So yearly looks like this, weekly, yeah, looks like this. So this is where we got it wrong. Novavax, yeah, Novavax. Also, we have our labeling already on the chart, unchanged. So we're waiting for the potential push down here before we then officially finish wave 4. Technically, what was the low here? The low here was 855, and here we went slightly lower. Technically, while we didn't reach the minimum target yet, it is possible that we finished here, but I think this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and we still get another push, and we will then basically mark the end of our correction here, which will be so at around 770, 775, which would be then the perfect point to buy call options or shares, in my opinion. Call options might make more sense because the risk is better limited, because we would have here still around 50% risk left, whereas with call options, we just have the risk of the premium. So we can control our risk a little bit better, I think, with like a higher payout ratio if you're right. And question is just, will it happen in time, all of this, so downward move and then upwards move, to still salvage my January call options? And if not, then yeah, like if we will get other call options or not. Anyway, yeah, I think we'll call it a day for now. So I honestly don't know what to pick and what to label. So what to label next in quotes. Our positions are all out there. I don't think, I mean, eventually we might look at the usual suspects. Olga, yeah, thanks for stopping by. I wish you a pleasant rest of the day. And so I think eventually we will get to label the usual suspects. But to be fair, I still have to rethink a little bit the structure of the stream. So, and also the structure of my portfolio. So at some point it would be nice to have the GameStop shares called away to free up funds, to give us more wiggle room to actually enter more positions instead of having one highly concentrated position, even though it's nice to earn the premium every week, yeah, especially when it's not $30 premium, but at least like $100 for a week in premium. But yeah, so yeah, I think we'll call it a day. So I'm gonna say thanks for stopping by. There's going to be some structural changes and updates in the future. Olga, last but not least, if you haven't left yet, again, like if you have any idea like or suggestions on how to best keep track of the predictions, I'm all ears. Yeah, feel free to chip in on Discord or so. So if you have an idea, if not, it's also perfectly fine. I'm sure I'll figure it out as we go. But right now, I feel like there is still a better approach than maintaining a one table. And then even if we stick with the table, I still need to figure out how to differentiate again between short-term and long-term predictions. So if there is, again, multiple things for the same stock. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. I hope you were able to take something away from today's stream. Yeah, see you all then tomorrow, last stream of the week. So have a great rest of the day. And then until tomorrow, bye-bye.